Hi everyone, my name is Stressball and today we're going to talk about how to make a custom inventory for a Segway guy in Happy Wheels. Now please notice that you guys are the ones deciding what to make tutorials about, and last week I've got some really interesting suggestions and you can vote down in the description which suggestion you want to be on next week. So the choices for next week are how to make a car with working suspension or how to make a working computer in Happy Wheels. Now you can also leave a comment on this video with your suggestion for a tutorial, and maybe next time we can vote on your suggestion. So let's get started. Now I think our suggestion was also you have to press a certain button to be able to see the inventory. So let's imagine I press Control right now and it shows up. The problem is that there is a way to trigger things with the Control key. However, you need to be in a custom vehicle. So that means that we need to get rid of this Segway, hide vehicle, and we actually need to make one ourselves. Now I'm going to uncheck hide vehicle for a while so I can copy the Segway. So what we're going to do here is we're going to just basically draw over it. First of all, I'm going to get the shapes right. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to uncheck fixed here and then just first of all recreate the Segway by recreating the shapes. So it doesn't have to be completely accurate, as long as the shapes cover most of the vehicle. There we go. Okay, what you also want to do is make sure that the character stays in position. So we have to make some kind of border around our character. Now watch out that you don't place the border over the character's arms, because in that case you can't move the arm up anymore. So we're going to do it like this. I'm just going to go ahead and select the whole thing, hold shift, press the character, and now we can move this out of the way. Next up, what I'm going to do is add a wheel. So I'm actually going to start with the art of the wheel right now. So you can just start making your circle, press it, and then make it a bit smaller, press it, make it a bit smaller, press it. And there we go, and finally this one. Okay, now we move this out of the way and then we try to replicate it as best as we can. So we're going to start with a kind of silver looking color, I think. Then we have a more darker blue here in the middle, almost gray. This looks a bit more silver again. We also have an edge right here, which is really white. Then this is a bit darker than the silver color. And then finally we have a dark blue on the outside, almost black. Like so. I'm not going to worry too much about detail. If you want to get better detail, you can just try to copy the color codes of this and that kind of cool stuff. So next up, let's try and copy this thing that is over the wheel. There we go, and we go back there, and then we can start moving that over the wheel as well. Now, of course, we need to make a few adaptations because it doesn't look perfect. That's nice. Okay, now give that the nice silver color we already had. Keep in mind that the wheel is actually rolling apart from the rest of the Segway, so what we need to do is make that a separate group. So now we already have our wheel done, as you can see. That works just fine. Congratulations, you just create a wheel. So we can keep that to the side, not worry about that too much. The next thing I'm going to do is draw the rest of the Segway. So we're going to go ahead and just draw this little thing. Actually, I think I'm going to do it in separate pieces. That probably works best. And I don't think I'm going to spend too much time actually detailing the whole thing. So just like so. And then this one is probably the hardest. So you need to start with a curve already in the middle and then bend it around. I can imagine this is a real challenge. Don't worry, it may take a few tries, but eventually you'll get there. There we go. I think, yeah, that looks a bit off. If you move that out of the way, I think it's not too bad. Now let's give it the color of the Segway, so the silver color, and then we're going to add some shadow. So we use the C color, now we're going to go for B. This is obviously not a perfect replica of the original. Like I said, I'm not going to pay too much attention to the detail. I'm going to make this a bit more blue. I think that's now okay. I'm going to actually add the color. And then for the shading, I think I'm never going to be happy about this. So I'm just going to stop worrying and start finishing the thing. We're going to move it over once again so we can place this part on the correct position. Then we're going to go ahead and place these on the correct position as well. got one. There we go. Is that right? I think it's right. Bit more up. There we go. Okay, so now we move the Segway out of the way, and this is basically what we have right here. We're going to group it and set as vehicle. Now the next thing we're going to do is add the wheel to it. So all these things with a blue outline, for instance this one, is a handle, as you can see, because you can remove the handle. This isn't a handle, this is a handle. What you want to do is place the wheel under a handle, grab your joint tool and pin it once. Just give it a nice pin there. Then select the pin, hold shift and select the wheel tool and drag it into position. There we go. Now the last thing you need to do is go into your Segway vehicle. So just double click one of the handles. Then hold shift and go ahead and select all of your handles. Like so. I think this is the last one. Yep. And now what you're going to do is remove all of the opacity so that you can't see it. And there it is, your custom Segway. Now we're going to go ahead and enable a motor speed and torque. So I would recommend like 6 and then this pumped up all the way. We can always change this later. I'll hide my vehicle and I'll place my Segway character in place. It's not bad to double check the vehicle just to see if I'm in place, and I did it correct. So now as you can see, I'm falling over, nothing's really working quite well. So let's do a short analysis on what's going wrong here. First of all, we don't have a fixed angle, so we need to fix that. Okay, so what we're gonna have to do to stabilize the whole Segway, and I don't know if this is the best way, but it certainly is a way you can do it, is to add an interactive shape. And then group it, fixed angle. Now we're going to add some of these. 1, 2. Select both of them. Limit rotation, everything all the way to 0. And what we now did is we connected a fixed shape to an unfixed vehicle. And that way it's going to stand upright, as you can see. So it's not going anywhere, it's standing upright. As you can see, the wheel is colliding with the feet of my character. What we're going to do is give it a collision 2. So now that's fixed. Next thing we're going to do is move everything to the foreground and make this invisible, and you can also give this a collision of 3. It's not really important for anything other than stabilizing the vehicle. Move the joints over there. Okay. So as you can see, we created a custom Segway. We're now going to run some tests on it just to see if it works in a stable way. So let's just add these to see if I'm actually going forward. And as you can see, I'm barely moving forward. The real Segway is going way faster. Also, my hand is not perfectly touching the Segway. So what we can do is we can just move this up a little bit. We can also move this up a little bit. Like so, and then move the handle up, and voila. You barely notice that it's a bit bigger, and it works fine. This one's in the background, isn't it? Foreground. There we go, that's a lot better. Okay, the wheel needs to go faster. The problem here is that we didn't select a acceleration yet. Well, our acceleration is 1. Move that up to like 6 or something. Actually, move that up to like 10. There we go. Boom. So this feels a bit unnatural. What we're going to do here is make the motor speed higher. That's really fast. I think 15 will do. My feet are flying back when I go forward. What we're going to do about that is add an extra handle. What I just did, by the way, I undid it. Press C, then press V. There you go. Add that in front of the feet. And you're good to go. Now you don't want that to collide with anything except for the character, so collide only with characters. And actually we want to go ahead and do that for all of those handles, so they're all right there. So just try to remember where they are and then select them. So we have one over here, this one, I think one over here, and then 2. I think that's all of them. So we're gonna go ahead and set that to collision 7. And as you can see, we're already pretty far with our custom Segway. You may notice that my head is flopping back when I'm driving. You can simply fix that by setting the grabbing pose to 3. That means that the character will hold his pose when grabbing, so his head doesn't fly back. It's basically stuck. Now we want to jump. So how do you jump? Some of you who are a bit creative with Happy Wheels would say that jumping is done by a jet. Is that the best way? Let's have a look. If we add a jet. So we add a jet to our vehicle with a pin joint. Okay, so my spacebar action is going to be set to jet's fire. Move the jet out of the screen. Now, as you may notice, this is a bit of a floaty jump. And you can also just hold it. So this is a way to actually float. We don't want to float, we want to jump. So what we're going to do here is add a trigger. And what it's going to do is it's going to activate our Segway. Now what should our Segway do to jump? We should apply an impulse. Impulse X. We don't want to go left or right, but we do want to go up. So I think minus 15. Just going to take a guess that minus 15 will work. Currently just testing the trigger by driving into it. I'll show it to you. So if I drive into my trigger, boom. You see a small leap. I'll do it slowly for you. Small leap. Let's try a bigger leap. So minus 30. Boom. That's a bit better. Feels a bit unnatural still, but I guess it'll do. Maybe minus 40. That's a nice jump. Well done, we'll do that. Now you understand I can't keep placing these jump spots right in the level where you need to jump. That is not going to work. So we're going to place it somewhere up here. And this is where the jet is actually necessary. If I press space, I'm still going to fly up. The problem is that that's not what we want. So I'm going to remove the jet, I'm going to remove the joint. I'm going to grab myself a new jet, but this time we're going to add it with a sliding joint. So it's actually sliding up and down. What this does is it allows me, oh, that's firing up. I'll add a roof so it doesn't fly away. What this allows me to do is it allows me to shoot up the jet, but I can move separately from the jet. It is still following my directions left and right, but I can fire it up. How do we get rid of the directions left and right? Well, that's simple. What we can do is we can instead add a shape first. So we'll add this brown shape with a collision of 5. I'll make it collide only with fixed shapes for now. Don't worry about the collision too much. So we're going to group this and set it to vehicle. I'm going to add this to my normal vehicle with a sliding joint, like so. And what did we just do? We just created a block that follows me. Doesn't do anything. And to that, we add our jet. That's interesting, isn't it? Now the jet's actually going to get a sliding joint to the side. Axis angle should be 0. This is 1. I'm going to go for 0. There we go. Boom. Now look at this. Jet's not firing. That's because spacebar action is not fire jet. Spacebar action, fire the jet. Boom. Now this is interesting, isn't it? Because the jet, as you can see, it's still flying everywhere. It's flopping around a little bit. We can simply solve that by giving it a fixed angle. So it's not going anywhere now. While editing the video, I noticed a small error, so I'm gonna help you guys out with that. For the maximum result, with less glitchy and less buggy stuff, you want to flip both of the sliding joints. Alright, that's all, let's continue. If I press space, boom, there he goes. Okay, final step. We're gonna add the trigger. Triggered by any non-fixed shape, that'll do. Boom, there we go. Boom, there we go. See? So now all we need to do is to isolate the... By isolating, I just mean building it in. I'll isolate the block like so. And how do I prevent double jumping? You don't want to double jump. I'm gonna place my jet up here and just give it some more space. I think this will do. You don't want the jet to fly over the trigger. I think we finally created a good mechanism. We can finally jump. There we go. Yeah, this is... the jet moved out of the way. There we go. So I think this is the mechanism you want to have. You have your block moving to the sides and up here. Then you have your jet moving up there. And basically what you create is just this is an 8 figure with your trigger and your jet in the upper box. And then your vehicle block in the lower box with the side-to-side movement. And yeah, it works. Can we add a sound for when we jump? Play sound effect. Air. This is the air jump. Yeah, we want to add that. So whenever the trigger is activated, we're going to play the sound. And the sound is the air jump. Repeat type is 2. Action display sound effect. Triggered by the trigger. So triggered by 5. No delay necessary. Let's see if it works. That's lovely. I like how this works. I didn't expect this to work so well. Now I'd like to give some credits here because I didn't find these mechanics out by myself, but there are a lot of authors that found this out separately. So credits to Wings and Strings, Gaius, Bob is the Cool One, and Tyrone Happy Wheel. As far as I know, the first people who told me about this are Gaius and Bob is the Cool One, so thanks to you guys. So now we finally have our custom Segway that can actually jump. That's really cool. So now that all the preparation work is done, which is probably most of the whole tutorial, you can finally start adding your inventory. So we're going to create a nice little inventory here. The way we're going to do that is just draw something. We're going to draw an inventory. Okay, so I'm just going to draw this box over here. I'm not going to make it too complicated. And I'm purposely trying to make it not look too rectangular, but actually trying to make it look a bit jiggly. There we go, slot number 1, slot number 2, and then the last slot. Let's just adjust the size of the bigger box to fit all the smaller ones in. It doesn't matter too much if they stick out a little. Well, actually I do think that doesn't look too good. That's a bit better. I'm just gonna add some shading and stuff right now. Do we want to draw some text to this? I think that would be nice. Okay, so make sure that when you select stuff, watch out to not mess around with any of this trigger work. So what I'm going to do right now is just select everything and start working outside of that. So that we don't interact with any of this stuff. Just have this free to move. So as you can see, we have a nice little inventory thing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to actually create inventory to add to the whole thing. First of all, I want to make this an actual item. So like this. This is the item right now. I'm going to make this green. Nice contrast. Move it back by holding Control and the down key. And if you group this, it'll be an item. So you can actually touch it. Like so. Problem is you don't want to be able to touch it. Collision 3 works perfectly for that, collides with nothing. And I want to give it as little weight as possible, so 0.1 of weight. Then we're going to double click on it and remove the opacity on the green shape. So now we have our inventory as an actual item. Now what I can go ahead and do right now is actually move it over to one of the handles. I think there's one in the back of the Segway guy. Where is the handle? Let's find it. The handle is right here, all the way at the bottom. Okay. We're going to move it over to the handle at a pin joint. And that should work, I think. Limit rotation 0, 0. There we go, we have my Happy Wheels inventory. Now we can go ahead and start adding things for our inventory. Now an example of this guy was Minecraft, so I figured that we can probably explain it best by using Minecraft examples. I'm just going to copy one of those shapes to know what we are working with when it comes to size. And I'm gonna start drawing a nice little pickaxe here. There we go. So now we have a pickaxe. What we want to do here is just remove this whole thing in its entirety. Make the pickaxe into a shape. I already explained you how to do it, but I'll do it again just to make sure. Move everything to the background. Interactive, collision 3. Group it. And now we have our shape. As you can see, it's gonna fall down. So now we can paste it into our actual inventory with a pin. Select your pin, limit rotation 0, 0. Now double click the object and remove the background block. And there we go, we actually have our pickaxe. I'm actually going to add an apple, I think. There you go, nice little apple. Now we have our second item in the inventory. Okay, so this is how you place items in the inventory. Now your question might be, well Rick, I want to pick it up. Yeah, that's cool. We can do that. So you can just copy this, paste it here. So let's say my pickaxe is just floating around somewhere. This doesn't have to be interactive, by the way. So just keep it at non-interactive. You can actually remove this whole thing. So now all the components of this pickaxe are these three. So it's just flying around there. And as you can see, I'm gonna select this one and turn the opacity down all the way. We only have that pickaxe floating around there, see? So how do you want to pick that up? What you're gonna do is you're gonna place a trigger over it. I'll place it next to it, because that way I can connect with my pickaxe. Activate object, add new target. We want both the pickaxe and the pickaxe in the menu. There we go. So I think we selected it, and as you can see we did. Okay, so this trigger is connected to both of them. Triggered by the character, repeat type 1. That's so good. The pickaxe is gonna disappear, change opacity to 0, and the pickaxe in my inventory is going to appear. Change opacity to 100, duration 0. Let's give it a try. So right now I wanna go ahead and head over to the pickaxe, and it's in my inventory. Great work. This also works in reverse, so whenever you want to replace it, so like right here, let's say there's a tree, pickaxe, you use that for stone, right? Let's say there's a big stone here. This is my stone. You guys have a little bit of imagination, right? This is the stone. Okay, so imagine we are right in front of the stone, and we're going to use clicking with the pickaxe. How do you do clicking? Well, let's just place down a trigger first. Then we go ahead and select activate object, add a new target, stone itself, and then the inventory. I don't know if you want to make the pickaxe disappear after using it. That's up to you. What we're going to do is we're going to select the stone, and trigger action will be delete the whole thing. Trigger action in the inventory will also be delete. And then, how do you make it clickable? Triggered by 6. 6 stands for clicking. Now let's give it a go. So first we pick up the pickaxe, and then we click on the stone. Boom. And it's gone again. Okay, so you may be asking, well, what if the pickaxe is behind you? Because you can still go to... Wait, hold on. Need to grab this. You can still go to the stone and click it away without even having a pickaxe. Well, what you can do in that case is just make this start as disabled, and then use this trigger to enable that trigger. So, trigger 3 action is this one. Enable. Do not activate the trigger, enable. Let's go to debug drill to see what's going on. Okay, so if I move to the stone, and I want to click the trigger, I can't. See, it's disabled. I'm actually clicking it right now, it's not working. So I'm going to move back into the pickaxe. Boom. I've got my pickaxe. Now I'll move back to the stone, and you can click it. It's gone. Let's add some sound effects. I think those are convenient. So we're going to go ahead and play sound effects. Select one for the pickaxe. I think a nice iron sound would work. Okay, I think this is a nice metal impact. It's just an example, by the way. And then a nice shatter. That'll do, and then place it up there. And now we're going to connect the triggers. So add 5 to that one, and add 6 to that one. Now make sure that you can't actually play the sound while just going through it. As you can see, if I'm just going to go ahead and ride through it, it's going to activate. But I didn't select the trigger yet. So you should make your sound be triggered by 5, another trigger. So if I place it right behind me and I go through it, it's not going to play, see? But if I collect the actual trigger, it's going to play. Same for this one. Set it to triggered by 5. Okay, let's go. Boom. We collected the pickaxe, and boom. There we go. That's nice. Now the last thing we want to do is have a button to toggle the menu. So whenever I press a button, the menu shows up, and whenever I press a button, the menu disappears. How am I going to do that? Well, can I do it with the spacebar? No, I can't, because I would be jumping and toggling the menu at the same time. So we can't use the spacebar. So let's go into the vehicle and see which ones are left. You can choose between the shift and the control key. Keep in mind that you have not 1, but 2 vehicles. So you need to select both. So what options do we have with the control action? Nothing is not going to work. Okay, we can add joints, but remember, we added a joint for the wheel. So whenever you go forward, the menu is going to toggle. That's 2 actions. Okay, we can add a jet, but we already have a jet to toggle the jump. So you can jump and toggle the menu at the same time. So what's left? An arrow gun. So we're going to add an arrow gun. See if it actually works. I know it works, so yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is move this out of the way just a little bit so you can reach it. Grab your arrow gun. Hazard, arrow gun. Uncheck fixed, really important. Place it down. Get your sliding joint. Place it down. And if you see two lines coming out of your sliding joints, you know it's connected to both the vehicle and the arrow gun. We're going to move the arrow gun over here, just next to the thing. And as you can see, if I do nothing, it's going to fall. So we definitely need to build it in. Can I actually move everywhere? Yeah, I can do everything properly. It's fine. It's all working. So let's try to make my arrow gun shoot. Control. I'm pressing control right now and it's not shooting. If I add a character, just leave it hanging there. Pin joint. Just place a lot of pin joints. There we go. If I add a character, press control, it's going to shoot at my character. It's going to keep shooting. That's nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a trigger in between. And it's going to be triggered by any non-fixed shape. An arrow counts as a non-fixed shape. Action, activate object. We're going to add a new target. And that is the whole menu. But also don't forget to add the pickaxe and the apple. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna select change opacity to 100. Select both of them and change opacity to 100. Duration 0. Did I do that with that one too? Yeah. Okay. Now make everything invisible, as well as these two. We're gonna make everything invisible. Opacity 0. Boom, there we go. Now if I press control, the whole thing is visible. Boom! I only want to make it show up for a few seconds, so we need another trigger to turn off the whole menu. This one is already properly connected to everything, so what you can just do is copy and paste it. And then connect your first trigger to the second one. Make sure that this is actually triggered by 5. Now you want to have a little delay in there, so delay of like 2.5 seconds that you can see the menu. And select all of your stuff, and trigger 8 should make the menu disappear and actually give it a duration. There we go. So let's see if it works. I press control, I can see the menu. It's going away. I can press control, I can't see the menu. You know why that is? Because we didn't add a repeat. Repeat type 2 should work. Let's give it a go. Control. There's my menu. And it moved away. Control. There's my menu again. And it moved away. Now remember, there's one flaw in this. We didn't collect the pickaxe yet. So if I press control, I'm gonna see a pickaxe in my inventory. What's it doing there? I didn't collect it yet. How are we gonna fix this? Well, the way to do that is remove all targets on 7. And actually have 3 separate entities. One for the pickaxe. One for the apple. And then finally one for the whole menu. Now we know that trigger 9 is connected to the pickaxe, so we can go ahead and select trigger 3 when I collect the pickaxe to trigger 9. Boom. So we're going to set trigger 9 to start disabled, and then trigger 3 is going to enable the trigger. Next thing I'm going to do is connect everything, so trigger 7 is going to be connected to 9, 10, and 11. And of course to number 8. Select your individual triggers, so we're going to start with number 9. It should be in here somewhere. Number 9. Change opacity to 100. Duration 0. This one is number 10. Opacity to 100. And then the whole menu has number 11. Remember to set trigger 9, 10, and 11 to repeat type 2. So not 1, but 2. There we go. Alright, let's give it a go. So if I press a control, my menu is going to show up. And it's going to disappear. Control. There's my menu again. And it disappears. Let's collect the pickaxe. Boom, there it is. We have it. And it's already showing up. We don't want that to happen. So how does that happen? Okay, we still have trigger 3 set to this thing. What we're just going to do is wake from sleep, because that doesn't do anything. I don't want to mess up the whole system. Okay, let's give it another test run. Control. There it is, my whole inventory. And it fades away. Control. Again, the whole inventory, and it fades away. Now we're going to select the pickaxe. Boom. Control. And I have my pickaxe. It works. And it fades away. That's perfect. Control. Still have my stuff. Control. Still have my stuff. I feel like I'm being dragged back by the arrow gun. Now finally we're gonna clean everything up, so to speak. So what we're gonna do is move all of these things all the way up. So just carefully select everything that you place down. See if everything still works. Control, yeah, there is the menu, so everything is still working. Okay. There we go. There we go. We forgot to make the pickaxe move out of the inventory. I'll show you. So now it's not in there. Now it's in there. If you click this one, it's still in there. The way to remove it is just select the clicking one and add it to the pickaxe one and then set it to disable trigger. So number 4 should be disable. Let's see if it works. Selected the trigger. I collected the pickaxe, as you can see. We're gonna go ahead and break this one and boom, it disappeared. Perfect. And then finally a nice little finish line. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. If we can get 25 likes on this video, I will post the whole XML data into the description so you guys can use it for free. Please make sure to actually credit me when you use it in your levels or whatever. Thanks for watching, hope this was useful, and I'll see you next time. Bye.